South Africa just doesn't do drama in small doses, does it? If you thought Parliament was just about boring speeches and tea breaks, think again. On September 18, 2025, at the Madlanga Commission, KwaZulu-Natal Police Commissioner Nhlanhla Mkhwanazi dropped a bombshell that had jaws dropping across the country. He pointed fingers straight at Democratic Alliance MP Dianne Kohler Barnard, accusing her of meddling in police operations and spilling state secrets like it was gossip at a braai. Now, here's why this is such a big deal. Kohler Barnard isn't just any MP. She's a long-serving member of Parliament's Joint Standing Committee on Intelligence. That role comes with heavy responsibility. It's like being trusted with the family vault, and instead of locking it, you decide to post pictures of the keys on social media. According to Mkhwanazi, she had a legal duty to keep classified details confidential, but instead, she went public with them for political mileage. One example Mkhwanazi highlighted was a DA media statement in June 2025. In it, Kohler Barnard revealed that the Inspector General of Intelligence had completed a probe into crime intelligence's alleged unlawful property acquisitions, including a shiny multi-million-rand commercial building in Durban. Mkhwanazi's reaction? Pure fury. He said, and, I quote, "What we see here is a person who has a legal obligation to keep her mouth shut and divulge this information to the Joint Standing Committee. Instead, she went public." In his eyes, that wasn't transparency, it was sabotage. But it didn't stop there. He accused her of interfering with the police's political killings task team, a group already caught up in controversy after Police Minister Senzo Mchunu disbanded it over corruption claims. According to him, Kohler Barnard's public criticism, and even her old 2012 affidavits against him, where she accused him of covering up a deadly police shooting, added fuel to the fire. Mkhwanazi painted this as dangerous meddling that risked exposing sensitive, vetted intelligence. And then there's the crime intelligence drama. Remember the arrest of Dumisani Khumalo, the head of crime intelligence, earlier this year over irregular appointments? Mkhwanazi said Kohler Barnard's statements only intensified malicious attacks on the division. For example, in February 2025, she issued a statement demanding an immediate investigation into related matters. To him, that wasn't just oversight, it was throwing petrol onto an already burning fire. His words were sharp. She's one of the leaders in our legislature who is participating in both breaking the law as well as fueling these malicious attacks that are happening within crime intelligence and ultimately directed at Khumalo as the head of that intelligence. So what does this all mean? Essentially, Mkhwanazi positioned her as a lawmaker who crossed the line from oversight into interference, undermining the very systems she was meant to protect. And here's the kicker. She's the second MP he has implicated at the Commission, suggesting a much deeper rot in the relationship between Parliament and state security structures. Of course, Kohler Barnard didn't just sit quietly. She's hit back hard, calling the allegations outrageous. And given her reputation as a fiery DA MP who doesn't mince words, you can bet this isn't the last we'll hear of it. Now, whether you see her as a whistleblower exposing rot, or as a politician recklessly spilling secrets, one thing's clear. The Madlanga Commission has turned into one of the most gripping political soap operas in recent years. It's got accusations, counterattacks, history dragged out from a decade ago, and the ever-present tension between transparency and national security. And the lesson here? In politics, especially when intelligence is involved, one person's act of accountability can be another person's act of betrayal. The line between oversight and sabotage isn't just thin, it's practically invisible. And in South Africa, it seems that line is tested almost daily. So what do you think? Was Mkhwanazi right to call this sabotage, or was Kohler Barnard just doing her job by exposing what she saw as misconduct? Either way, buckle up. This commission is far from over, and the fireworks are only getting started.
Yes, it's in that context that I would like you to summarize what your complaint is and how you suggest that it is relevant to the Commission's terms of reference.
Commissioners, Ms. Kohler Barnard is a long-serving member of Parliament. maybe you might, beg your pardon, Ms. Kohler Barnard, maybe you might excuse to some degree, not that I agree with it, Mr. Adams, of being new in that parliament, but Ms. Kohler Barnard is a veteran in parliament as a lawmaker who ought to understand what belongs where in parliament. And I can confirm, commissioners, that she is appointed by her own political party, which is a Democratic Alliance, to be a member of both the Portfolio Committee on Police that deals with the open account, as well as being a member of the Joint Standing Committee of Intelligence, which deals with the COVID funds. So she's better positioned to call the department to come in account at the right platform. But we have seen, and I said when I started, I'm going to throw one example of each. I'm not going to go into details with many. There are many examples. But she's one of the leaders in our legislature that is participating in both breaking the law as well as fueling these malicious attacks that are happening within crime intelligence, and ultimately directed at Khumalo as the head of that intelligence. I said she is a member of Joint Standing Committee of Intelligence. So what I put here on as an example on page 61 under paragraph 186 is a statement that she released in her capacity as a member of the Democratic Alliance, which I'm going to quote these two paragraphs, commissioners, on record. The Democratic Alliance is calling for an immediate and thorough investigation into the recent purchase of a multimillion-rand commercial property by the Crime Intelligence Division of the South African Police Service in Bria in Durban. The second paragraph, this purchase, approved by high-ranking officials within crime intelligence, raises serious concern due to the vast amount of taxpayers' money involved, especially as it follows a previous highly questionable property acquisition in Pretoria to the tune of 22.7 million rand, a matter that the Inspector General of Intelligence confirmed is now being investigated. The full statement is available on the internet. You can go and throw it. It comes from Ms. Kohler Barnard. Now she's introducing an Inspector General. We know, and we're going to demonstrate that later, that the intelligence community, they operate separately from a normal account. There are three entities established in the country. One is within defense, another one is state security, the third one is crime intelligence. And both of them are supervised by the Inspector General of Intelligence. And that is the only individual that has got access to all the classified and the work that they do at crime intelligence. And whatever reports this Inspector General of Intelligence discover must communicate with the Joint Standing Committee of Intelligence. Later in our presentation, commissioners, I will demonstrate in some of the incidents that happen at crime intelligence that involve the Office of the Inspector General of Intelligence being used by politicians, which I had an experience on as I read my portfolio, my profile, the experience I had when I was the acting National Commissioner at the time. We will indicate that because in trying to address the issues at crime intelligence and the political involvement, back in 2011, I deposited an affidavit at the Zondo Commission. That affidavit is available. Unfortunately, I was never invited to come and testify at the Zondo Commission. So the patterns that were there, the modus operandi of how they are dealing with things at crime intelligence back then, it still exists today. So what we see here is a person who has a legal obligation to keep the mouth shut and go to the Joint Standing Committee and present and ventilate on this and hold the Divisional Commission accountable. But she does not use that platform. She goes publicly and disclose this. The risk of this, commissioners, is that it forces the members that are within crime intelligence in the public space to defend themselves by divulging all the secrets of the states that they are aware of, the irregularities within crime intelligence that ranges from the police to the political parties, which the members are not supposed to, according to their vetting and their classification of that information. The platform they have to vent that is within the Inspector General of Intelligence and Parliament, Joint Standing Committee of Intelligence. So that's why a provincial commissioner like myself, General Mkhwanazi, I'm not invited to the Joint Standing Committee because I've got no business with that budget. It is the Divisional Commission of Crime Intelligence that has an access to the Joint Standing Committee to go and account, because he's the one that is classified to be there and deal with the matter. So we demonstrate here that the Ms. Kohler Barnard have acted, and the Inspector General of Intelligence, we have evidence of that he's part of the instrument of investigating the things or counter-investigation of the things that the team are doing within intelligence. So that's what I thought maybe I must bring forward without going more into details. As I said earlier, these are some of the things that General Khumalo is going to come here and is going to elaborate more of what actually is contained on this counterintelligence investigation, who is involved, and how the counter, what is the role that the Inspector General of Intelligence is playing in trying to frustrate this project. And we know in public, it's public knowledge, that the very same Inspector General of Intelligence have signed MOUs with entities outside that intelligence structure. Okay. One of them is IP, which is within the police, as an example. So, but we'll demonstrate that, commissioners, because what we're trying to show here and tell the South Africans is that the whole intention is to stop the investigation of this cartel and the operations of this cartel. And all the efforts that we are seeing as we are presenting this today is that there is a concerted effort of making sure that Khumalo and whoever he works with are frustrated in making this to end in court. And different approaches are being applied, as we're going to be demonstrating as we are continuing with this testimony today.
So you are suggesting for the moment that that issue be flagged, the complaint regarding that particular MP be flagged, and that General Khumalo will testify more as regards the issue you highlight here. Is that your testimony? That's exactly. Simple, because there's a secret fund account mentioned here, there's an Inspector General of Intelligence mentioned here. That is not much of my space, so that's why Khumalo will come and testify on this in details, Commissioners. Thank you, General.